America's mayor live, Florida, where there's a little rain behind us, but don't let it bother you. You can see some of the lights. We're pointing actually toward Mar-a-Lago, but it's quite a distance is less than a mile in that direction. That little place you can get for 18. People on the island, think that is hilarious. They ask questions like, where does that judge come from? Did Boss Tweed put him there? 18 million. There's a house behind it. There's a house behind it that is just a lot with a nice, 5-bedroom house, 10,000 square feet for 38 million. Oh, well, okay. So we're here tonight, and let's go right to the progress of the disastrous war in the Middle East. Disastrous only because of what Hamas did, and disastrous because of the disgraceful reaction of a good deal of America and the West, and disgraceful reaction of some of our citizens who I am really embarrassed of, and I am really wondering if they're Americans. I really am, and well, a lot of them aren't Americans, right? A lot of them come from they come from other countries, right, Ted? I mean, a lot of them aren't Americans. Let's just face it, they're not. So, where has Israel gone, and what has it done? We a creation of Ted and I, of Ted and mine, right English, a creation of Ted and mine that I think you're going to find very interesting. We're going to use it a lot more now because we have a couple more that we're developing. But this is a map of Israel. Tomorrow or the next day, we'll have a detailed map of Gaza, so you can get into Gaza. But I only wanted to show you one thing tonight. And I wanted to show you this because I wanted to show you how irrational, how unreasonable, how ignorant, how stupid of history and geography the people are that are protesting what is going on and that are basically against the democratic, lawfully established state of Israel, which is bending over backwards not to kill civilians. And now we have Hamas killing their own people in the back who have white flags up because they don't want them to flee, because they want the civilian numbers to be. A victory for Hamas in this war is that a lot of civilians die. A victory for Israel is that very few civilians die and they get rid of Hamas. Does that tell you something about which is the civilized group, which is the group that America has a future with, and which is the group that would like to do the same thing to us? Young people that are protesting, don't they realize they hate them? Hamas hates them. They're Americans. And when they when everything goes down, if God forbid it goes down their way, they're going to be the first little weak cowards they kill. The ones who. This is the history of communism. History? No. History is 1619. Yeah, America started racism, and America started slavery. Oh, America started slavery. That's what my teacher told me. They should really sound like, hey, idiot, slavery started before there was human history. There was slavery before people were writing. A lot of people wouldn't be writing if it wasn't for Western civilization. They also wouldn't be eating with knives and forks. And they might be eating human God for Judaism. Thank God for Greek philosophy. Thank God for the Roman Empire. Thank God for Jesus Christ, his only son. Thank God for the Renaissance. Thank God for the United Kingdom. Thank God for the United States of America. A lot of people that would be eating human flesh are civilized today for that reason. Now, here is, can we go over to the map now, or we want to do it later? It's up to you, Ted. We can do it later.
Yeah.
If you want to do it later, it's just a little thing that I want to, and I should get this out of the way for a bit, right? Let's put that down there for now. Or put it over here. Any old place. Now, I don't know if you can see the map. They can see the, right now they don't see the map. But we can go over to the map. There's a little bit of light on it, but there's a little bit of light up there. I really want see if you can bring it down a little. So we're just showing Israel. We got to get a little more of the north of Israel in. And we got to show a little more up here. Okay, a little more up here. See,
Yeah, we'll bring it down.
see where it says Lebanon? If we can get that in the map. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Went out to the ocean anyway. Oh, yeah. Good. Oh, that works good. A little more. I hope everybody's seeing it now.
All right.
Can we see Lebanon up here? Do they see Lebanon up there?
Yep.
Ted? No. Well, now it's good. See Lebanon up here. That's the north. That's the north of Israel. This is the southernmost point in Israel. It's all the way down here. Now, there's no reason to see that. That's Eilat. Eilat is a resort, believe it or not. Now, this is the border. This is the border with Egypt, right here. Yeah. That's the border. That's probably their safest and their best border. I mean, this border too with Jordan, which has the Jordan River in between, is pretty safe. The problems are here, little Gaza. That's Gaza right here. See how small it is? That's it. That's Gaza. So you say, well, the Palestinians don't have much of Israel. Like hell they don't. Having lost a war, they got about, I'm going to do a very rough show. Here's the West Bank right up here. Right up, they go from about here. They got about that much. See what I'm doing? I'm cutting this out. And by the way, when I did that little cut, I took out the birthplace of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, but we turned over to the Muslims. Ha ha. And from that time on, when the Jews had control of it, it was a beautiful, beautiful place to go. I went to Mass there in the Church of the Nativity. The next time I go back, I couldn't go. Too unsafe. They said also you wouldn't like the condition of the church. The Muslims let it get ruined. They have no respect. They have no respect for our religion. You know, the only Arab country in which crosses are allowed, at least as far as I remember, is Bahrain. Even in the advanced ones like Dubai and Qatar, you can have a church. You can't have a cross, much less a Jewish star or synagogue. Oh boy, you're not going to have that. No. When we talk about, it's just Hamas, it's not Palestinians or that hate the Jews. Let's. How about we be honest with each other? There's a tremendous amount of Arab hatred of the Jewish people. And it goes deep into the Muslim religion, into the Arab nationality. Now, they've worked their way around with Egypt and some other places. But you want to go deep in, you got a virulent hatred that makes racism look fairly new. So here's Israel, Lebanon up here, Syria over here, both controlled by, well, one would say Hezbollah. Really, Iran. This is Iran. This is Iran. Hezbollah, even more effective and dangerous and well-funded a terrorist group than Hamas. Hamas operates down here in Gaza, right here, controlled also by Iran. In fact, all three are controlled by Iran. This is Israel, and here is the Palestinian Authority. There. Just about like that. It just cuts out Jerusalem. Jerusalem remains under the jurisdiction of the state of Israel, of course, and lots of idiots want to share it with the Palestinian Authority so we can ruin it. And so we'll never get to see it again, like we have a very hard time seeing the place where Jesus was born. We do keep Nazareth up in the north, which is the place where Jesus was brought up. But we've given away and you know, of course, that the Muslims basically drove out all the Jews in Lebanon, Syria, a lot of Syrian Jews. They drove out all the Jews in all those countries and drove them into Israel if they didn't kill them. But let's face it, they drove out all the Christians too. There's no more Christian Lebanon. The Lebanon Christians were a very vital group. They're either dead or somewhere else. So it is now Lebanon, which was once a mixed country, but the Muslims aren't going to tolerate a mixed country. Look at Turkey. Under Ataturk, they went modern for a while. Now under Erdogan, it's a hotbed of religious warfare. They are the Azerbaijan killing of the Armenian Christians, who are down to only 3 million. They're behind the killing of the Greek Christians. In their recent history, which I consider within the last 200 years, they've attempted genocide in many ways against both the Armenians and the Greeks. I'm pointing this out to you because political correctness doesn't allow the liars that are generally on television to tell you this. The frightened liars who put you in a position where we don't know who our enemy really are. And then somebody like a demagogue like Biden can fool you. So Biden is fighting for Iran right now. He is not fighting for Israel. He is not fighting in the best interest of the United States. The things he's done point by point, except for a facial attempt, is intended to assist Iran in developing its empire. And the goal of the Iranian empire is to almost, number one goal, destroy the state of Israel. Now, granted, but he must have known that before he went into dementia. And certainly his boss, Obama, knows it, and sure as hell agrees with it, because he's been on the other side forever. So what are they doing now? With all the constrictions of having to fight a war with your hands tied behind your back, the way the MacArthur had to fight in North Korea, Netanyahu is winning. He's driven Hamas really into, he's almost surrounding them like an old Western movie, but of course much bigger than the wagon train, and then we used to call them Indians then, but the Native Americans surrounding them like that. Now, here are a couple of variables that we don't know the answer to. There's always been the thought that they were very booby-trapped and very aware of this and very ready for it. So far, that hasn't emerged. As they get deeper in, will it emerge? Now, they don't have much more to go. Let's put it that way. They don't have much more to go. What they really have to go right now is the major hospital, Al-Sharif Hospital. Al-Sharif Hospital, according to the Arabs, is just a hospital. According to the Palestinians, it's just a hospital. The Israeli intelligence and American intelligence, it's a command post and a major one for Hamas. Israel will not be able to take control of Hamas in order to protect itself unless it gets control of that hospital. And it has to do it without killing the people there. So it has been, I don't know how to say it any different than laying siege to the hospital. The Israelis don't like that. They don't like it described as that. But it's a heck of a lot better than just bombing it and destroying it and just killing everybody there. It's a surgical, let's call it, they are laying siege in a surgical fashion. They leave an opening for the eastern side of the hospital. They periodically have firefights in front and sometimes fire in. They have killed a couple of patients and a couple of doctors, very, very few. They've killed a lot of Hamas, and they've gotten 40 to 50,000 people out of that area. Now, they're hindered in their effort to get them out because Hamas shoots the Palestinians trying to go south. So basically, we don't have the map again, but we'll go back to it later. But basically, you saw that big portion south. So a very small part of of Gaza Gaza is a northern part and a southern part. The northern part is the more developed part, and it's the part where most Hamas has. Mossad would tell us Hamas has most of its major fortifications and the tunnels. So if Israel can get control of that, which it almost has now, then it has control of Gaza. It doesn't mean it's gotten all of Hamas eliminated, because they're hiding all over the place, if not months. And that's going to take patience on the part of an impatient and American administration that really wants to make sure that Hamas is preserved so they can go on continuing their terrorist activities. Why the hell would you give money to them if you didn't want them to continue their terrorist activities? And now we're already arguing over what's going to happen when and if Israel wins, which I don't think is an if, it's a when, and exactly how broad is the winning? Do they get control of all of? They're going to be content with control of the northern part of Gaza, which is the militant part of Gaza. Already, our two main traders, the president and the secretary of state, don't want Israel to have any control. Well, I mean, they might as well not have fought the war, because if they give it back right away, Hamas will just reemerge under the tender guiding care of Fatah. So the upper part of the Palestine is governed by a group called Fatah. Please don't get fooled by the title. They used to be the Palestinian Liberation Organization, who used to take airplanes and blow them up in the sky, kill people, hijack airplanes. They're the ones who killed the athletes at the Munich Olympics. They killed Leon Klinghoffer and 27 Americans. I mean, they're murdering fiends who have turned into massive crooks who steal from their own people. If the Palestinian people had ever gotten all the money that everybody sent them, they'd have more money than we have. The place would be a place we'd all want to go to have vacation. But that money has gone into the hands of the major crooks that we've empowered, much in the way we've done that in Ukraine. And the people that suffer here are the Palestinian people and the Ukrainian people. There's a difference, however. Ukrainian people are better educated, more broadly educated, they're mostly Christians, and happening to them. They understand that they have a crooked government. Same thing is true in Iran. I mean, you see the protests in Iran. Many of the Iranian people, meaning almost a critical mass, understand that the Ayatollah is a vicious dictator. You see no evidence of that in Palestine, none. And whoever tells you that they do is just lying to you. Like Nikki Haley, who's never corrected the idea that 50% of Palestine is fine. Where the hell she got that idea, I don't know. Maybe she took a Kool-Aid at the UN or some other drink, or they gave her some injections or whatever. But I mean, that's asinine. There's absolutely no evidence that I've ever seen that there's anybody in Palestine that wouldn't like to see the Jewish people eliminated. I'd like to meet the Palestinian who, I shouldn't say that. Every once in a while, you'll see a professor or an American Palestinian write about how terrible it is. That's true. But it's a small group of highly educated, in some cases, people who have converted to Christianity or Judaism. That what's going on there is a terrorist activity. But the vast majority of people there share. If they don't appreciate the governance of Hamas and Fatah, and they don't, but they share the ultimate bloodlust for the Jewish people. Now, you could go much beyond that, and you could go into a lot of the Arab world and a lot of the Persian world, but particularly the Arab world. And you can go into a lot of the Quran, and you can figure out why. So to say with Biden and Blinken, oh, no, Israel shouldn't be directing Gaza when the war is over is to say it's going to go right back to where it was, and all these lives will be lost for nothing. And isn't that what they want, really? For Biden's America, not yours or mine, Biden's America, which will eventually disappear and be part of one world, presided over by Prince Obama, is an America that is subservient to China, equal to Iran. And Iran, I think Obama's also massive anti-Semitism. Iran can control Israel and ultimately destroy it. Now, there's no reason to believe that he doesn't subscribe to that almost universal extremist Islamic sentiment that Israel should be destroyed. He acts like that. And that's the only conclusion I can draw from the hundreds of millions in cash that he gave to the Ayatollah, who doesn't make any bones about the fact that the whole purpose of his life is to destroy Jews. You've got to be a Jew hater to give somebody hundreds of millions who wants to kill Jewish people. That is what. Let's just get to the conclusion now, because we're about the only ones who have the guts to say this. Obama has to be a Jew hater if you give hundreds of millions of dollars in cash to a terrorist group that is dedicated to the extermination of the Jewish people. Of logic, please don't get a heart attack over it. It's a matter of logic. It's also a matter of having courage in order to say it and face it, because nobody wants to believe bad of Prince Barack, or in his early days when he was in high school, Prince Barry. That is being trained by the communists. Maybe, just maybe, we should have paid more attention to them, huh? Saul Alinsky wasn't exactly pro-American, you know? And that reverend of his, Reverend Wright, about his wife, the greatest quote of all, which she should never be allowed to live down, because it summarizes the whole Obama situation and why he became president. The best thing that happened to America, I mean, the first good thing that America did, I think, or something like that, was the election of my husband. Chief. Kind of makes George Washington feel kind of bad. Lincoln even died for America. Barry hasn't done that yet. Who the hell did Barry liberate? He started wars. Nobel Peace Prize before he became president. Wow. Well, could you believe that this incompetent, idiotic, un-American, anti-American, loving president, the cost of the illegal immigrants, and that's what they are, illegal migrants, is going to be $451 billion per year. $1 billion for people who we don't know who they are. They come in unvetted now. They are directed in here by the Mexican cartels. And therefore, you got to believe that a disproportionate number of them are bad people. I'm not going to say all. It would be absolutely, I'd be as ridiculous as they are if I were to say that everybody that comes in here is a bad, terrible, criminal person. But I'd be equally stupid if I didn't say that a lot of them are. Because then if they're not, then we have nothing to worry about with the Mexican cartels. We have nothing to worry about with China. We got nothing to worry about. We've got nothing to worry about with the drug traffickers and the human traffickers. They're all just nothing. Because if they're worth anything, and they see these big, uncontrolled groups of people going over the border, even if they didn't start it, which they might join it. I was taught as a very young man when I began my career in the law enforcement, prosecuting, to catch a criminal, you got to think like a criminal. What's their next plan? What are they going to do? Well, I'm thinking right now like the head of China. Okay. And I'm saying to myself, how do I take advantage of this absolutely ridiculous thing that Biden is doing, which we don't have, an open border. This is like the greatest thing we could have been given. Even Marx never expected this. I mean, and but okay, now we got an open border. All these people, he watches it. All these people come across. I can slip whoever the hell I want, and some of my own people are coming there because they're fleeing China. So there are legitimate people coming in from China who are trying to get away from the. So now, how can I take advantage of that? Well, one way he takes advantage of it is he makes billions on fentanyl. Not only that, he carries on a war with the United States. He, without any cost to himself, last year he killed 70,000 Americans. This year it'll be more like 100. That's pretty good without firing a shot, huh? That's another way he uses it. And then there's another, right? He sees all these people coming in. He's great at getting spies in here anyway. Look what we did to Feinstein. She had a spy with her for 19 years. And she never went to jail. In fact, they honor her. Effing break. Honoring her? A spy was driving her around. Come on. What does she say? She says nice things? But in any event, he got a spy there. Getting a spy in on Swalwell is, obviously easy. The guy is a blithering idiot, moron, jerk who, I think China must have felt like, God, if we can't get a spy in on him, we better give up being communists. But they have him in our universe, all over our universities. Biden stopped the program of getting rid of them. Well, you would too if you got all that money and you were a crook. They have infiltrated us so much more successfully than the Soviets ever did. And I can tell you that because I knew the Soviet infiltration from being in the Justice Department. I knew how good it was and I knew how weak it was. This is a lot better. And they have turned a lot more of our people to their way of thinking because of money. Like the banks. All the money they can make in China. The market, like the NBA. Why does the NBA sees 1.400 million here? And if they're not patriotic and they don't love this country the way you and I do, the money wins. You can't believe some of the people where the money wins. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, it doesn't work with Donald J. Trump. You want to know something solid about Donald J. Trump? He ain't never going to sell this country out. I can attest to situations in which if you don't think that some of the venom against him in 2020 wasn't China produced, you're dead wrong. And if you don't think some of the fraud was driven by China, you're dead wrong. In another administration of Donald J. Trump, he was the first president to challenge him. Some presidents cooperated with him. Some presidents were foolish. And one president they worked on, they got to own. He's the present one. But he was the only one to really turn the screws on him. To learn more and more, he turned them harder and harder and harder and harder. As opposed to the other presidents who they were able to co-opt and co-opt and co-opt and co-opt and co-opt and co-opt. So $451 billion for migrants. According to the second biggest administration, 600,000 gotaways came in 23. I don't know how he knows how many gotaways came in, since a lot of the gotaways you don't get to see. But that doesn't matter, because I don't know what this man did before he became head of Homeland Security. But he must have always been. You can't just start lying, pathologically lying at his age and not be doing it all your life. And pathologically lying about matters of life and death. So we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, Dr. Maria, which I know you love. Towers Foundation delivers on its promise to do good and never forget the sacrifices America's greatest heroes have made for us. Heroes who risked their lives to keep our communities and our country safe. Heroes like United States Marine Corps Captain and pilot John Jeremy Sachs. Captain Sachs sustained fatal injuries when his military aircraft crashed during training, killing him and 5 other service members. He's remembered by loved ones as courageous, brilliant, and devoted to his career, family, and friends. John is survived by his wife, Amber, who gave birth to their second daughter 3 months after his death. Tunnel to Towers paid the mortgage on the family home for Amber and their 2 daughters. The foundation has helped over 1,000 military and first responder families navigate the worst of times by removing the burden of a mortgage payment. Our nation's heroes and their families need your help now more than ever. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. T2T.org. That's T, the number 2T.org. T2T.org. Please donate now. Between us.
And we're back.
So I should do this. We're back. This is Rudy Giuliani coming to you live from Palm Beach. And next to me is the incomparable Dr. Maria.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, Dr. Maria.
Great to be on America's
Great
Mayor
show
Live.
yesterday, by the way. We did Uncovering the Truth yesterday on WABCRadio.com.
Those of you who don't know, every Sunday, Rudolph and I have a show Uncovering the Truth. It's 1 hour on WABCRadio.com. And then, of course, America's Mayor Live is on your favorite social media network, Rumble, Twitter, Getter. Getter can't yet see the commercials in the graphics, but we're working on it. Instagram, and now on Newsmax 2 at 8 p.m.
And that first commercial was for Tunnel to Towers, T2T.org, which is the group that takes care of all of our service members who are catastrophically injured, who die in the line of duty. You're part of it. T2T.org. Right?
Very proud of that organization.
Oh, we both are.
Love the Siller family.
So let me just go back on one thing I didn't mention about the war, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
So we keep getting hit by the Iranian proxies.
Right.
We keep getting hit by
in
Hezbollah,
Syria and Iraq,
Houthis,
yep.
Probably the guard itself, and we're up to 58 to 60 wounded, and we got about half of them with traumatic brain injuries.
Yes.
But they don't go on and describe, the severity of it. That right? Those could be catastrophic.
The ones that have diagnosis of TBI will live with the rest of it. And I don't know how bad it is. We're not getting reports. We're just being told about half of TBI. It can be everything from screeching headaches, double vision, to severely brain damaged. So I don't know the extent of the TBI, but very serious diagnosis.
And they give us very little information. And for that, traumatic brain injury goes right back to the beginning. And for 3 weeks, they were just telling us 21 injured, 23 injured.
Like they had a little cut.
All very minor, all very minor. And then originally they told us they were reporting the fact that the contractor was killed, but now they leave that out. His life meant nothing. Well, I have to tell you, part of the justification for Trump hitting Syria was the death of an American contractor. Because Trump took his life seriously.
Yeah, and all American lives are our precious lives, right? We have to get those American hostages, although Israel is our favorite, one of our longest allies, certainly a strategic ally in the Middle East. But we got to get those Israeli hostages out as well. But we have a weak president. I wish that wasn't the case. I would love to sit here tonight and say President Biden, he knows American values. He knows what he has to do. And anybody who hit our military in Syria and Iraq are going to pay. Taking our American hostages, you're going to pay. And we are going to strike back and strike. Right now, it looks like you can do whatever you want to our military, to our American citizens, and it's okay. But We saw that early on. We saw that during Afghanistan withdrawal. He didn't care about his allies. He didn't care about the American those 13 soldiers. And we definitely saw his weakness with China. They are sending spies here all the time. They're trying to get on our military base. Alaska just had 4 cases several months ago, and we all watched those spy balloons camps getting information in real time and sending it back to Beijing. And what does our president do? He allows them to gather that information and then blows up the balloons over the ocean.
After they get all the information they want in China. By the way, to me, it looks like he escorted them. So they could hit the right places. I mean, we had them under surveillance for the whole thing, and they were lying to us while it was they're getting nothing, they're getting nothing, they're getting nothing, they're getting nothing. Then it was over with. One of the military they were open to getting the most sensitive information possible.
Yeah.
I mean, how do the American people stand being lied to this much? I mean, I don't get it. I don't see it. I don't understand it. Every day, people are getting killed because of this guy. Oh.
And I know a lot of you are very concerned about the integrity of our elections. You got to try it anyway. Become a poll watcher. If you can, encourage your friends. But I feel like if you're my age and above Rudy's age, it is our obligation to teach our young people about America, American values. I saw 2 young people interviewed who are in this pro-Hamas rally. Can you imagine that? People saying, I'm for Hamas, a terrorist group who raped women, mutilated babies, injured so many citizens, not military.
Were the kids gay or lesbian?
No.
Because they would have killed them if they were gay or lesbian. They would have
killed them. That's another thing I don't understand. Gay and lesbian groups supporting pro-Hamas, they'd kill you in a second. But listen to this. A reporter went up to these 2 young women and said, oh, what brings you out to this pro-Hamas? What did you say? Reporter repeats the question. What brings you out to this pro-Hamas rally? They're like, well, what's Hamas? They didn't even know why they were there. They said Hamas on October 7th brutally, savagely attacked innocents in Israel. No, it's October 7th. Oh. Yep. No, I unfortunately I know that because it's my birthday.
Oh, yes, of course.
So they didn't realize that. They said, what? Innocent civilian? I was told that Israel took Palestinians' land. No, here's our obligation. This is the land of Judea. This is Israeli land. They gave a piece of land for the Palestinians. The Israelis were the givers, the lovers of life. Many of these people who were brutalized were what's called peace-loving people. They would go into Palestine, help feed, because you know why the Palestinians are so poor? Because Hamas takes their money. Hamas takes any aid. If you're thinking of donating to Palestinians, it's going to Hamas. Their leaders live in mansions. Sorry, I'm on a soapbox.
The Secretary of State says that he is assured that the money is getting to the people. He knows that. But
no, he is.
He's also
incompetent. Then
he's not incompetent. He's a crooked liar. Is a miserable crooked liar who helped to fix the 2020 election when he organized the phony letter from the 51 people lying about the hard drive, which proves that the Bidens are a 30-year crime family. Mm-hmm. And he's the one who covered it up, and he got rewarded by being our disgraceful traitor of a Secretary of State. Mm. I mean, the guy is awful. I mean, to say that food or money or anything gets to the people of Palestine just completely ignores the history of Hamas since the day they took over. They take everything.
Yeah.
They're a dictatorship.
Rudolph, they kill Palestinians who Israel says,
hold the flag up.
Palestinians, I want to offer you safe passages out. What does Hamas say? No, I need you. Stay. They want to use them as a shield. Some Palestinians who rebelled and kept moving towards the southern part of Gaza, they were shot in the back.
But why would you do what Blinken does? You'd lie like that.
Stinking Blinken.
You're either crooked or you're a traitor. One or the other. There's nothing nice about him. The guy's a miserable human being working for a completely amoral, totally crooked, totally dishonest, totally anti-American president.
It's very sad.
Who takes actions that are directly in the worst interest of the United States. And after a while, you got to say it's not a coincidence anymore. Why does he make decisions favorable to China all the time?
He's compromised.
Because
He's
there are
compromised.
at least 31 million.
I hate to say it.
There are at least 31 million reasons why.
Yeah.
I'm even willing to say I know the money went to him, and I think all this idea
You've
that there's no
proved it
proof.
repeatedly.
Oh,
Rudolph.
come on!
You've
There's
proved it.
100 pieces of proof that the money went to him already there. The idea that it didn't go to him is absurd. But let's assume that it didn't go to him for a minute. It went to his family. We know that for sure. $31 million to his family in the 5 years leading up to his being president. How could he not be compromised with that kind of money going to his family? How could he be president of the United States? Suppose Eisenhower got $31 million from the Nazis and he was running the war against the Nazis, his family. Yeah. All of a sudden, in the middle of the Second World War, we find out that Hitler sent $31 million to Eisenhower.
Yeah.
His family. But about my family, they just got the $31 million.
No. And the way they did it, it's through a series of different bank accounts, but they didn't they tried to shield Joe, right? So Hunter would pay for the houses he was in, or if Hunter lived in one of the houses, he'd pay his dad rent. So he paid for a lot of expenses. He's been working for the government most of his life, meaning Joe Biden. But he was able to pay for his summer home, a beach home, I don't want to say the exact, I could be wrong, but it's over $2 million in cash. No one's hiring Joe Biden for speakers because we all know he does not know foreign policy. He makes every decision that is wrong.
Unless it's a comedy hour.
Yeah, he's not a serious or a contender to hire for speeches. So it's
Saturday
all
night,
suspect, and you have to be blind if you don't see it, or you don't want to see it. You're putting your political party not only above your country, above your family, and above your own common sense.
But they must think the American people are stupid to accept it and vote for them. And you know something? There must be some percentage that are. Because some people, how could you have voted for him even in 2020? He never came out of the basement. He'd show up with those cars that were parked, and they beeped their horn, and he didn't know the people beeping their horn were Trump people.
Yeah.
He had all those circles. The people were in the circles. Remember, he put all those people in the circles.
Oh yeah.
And even back then, he was doing things like confusing his wife and his sister.
Oh yeah, he showed signs of dementia.
Telling us about the little, liking the little kids touching his legs.
Yeah, that's so.
Yeah, I really liked it when the little kids touched the hair on my legs. Come on, that's not weird.
Very weird.
And then you see all the pictures of him smelling little girls' hair.
Yeah.
They must think we're stupid. Or I didn't know about all the money my son got from foreign countries. Did you believe that for a second?
No.
There is something that they don't even use. Ted and I use it, in which he admits that he knew about the dealings in China. He left a phone message for Hunter the night that a New York Times article was printed, laying out all of Hunter's in China. And you're gonna be okay. Meaning you're going to escape.
So he knew what was going on.
Yeah, so he had to know. Having read it, he had to have found out if he didn't know it up to then, which is, of course, ridiculous to think he didn't know it, since you have pictures of him going to dinner with him. They've got recordings of him on the phone talking to them. They've got people coming to the White House, meeting him, meeting with them, going to dinner with them. When he was vice president.
May I encourage your audience to go look at Rudy Giuliani CS. That stands for Common Sense. RudyGiulianiCS.com. And on his comments, especially the early ones, look at episodes 2 through 5. Rudy lays out all of this. So go watch it. But I have news that's probably to most of the audience isn't news now since we're on at nighttime. You probably know that Tim Scott has put a potential bid on pause. Excuse me. Everybody has a kind word to say about Tim Scott.
And we do.
And we do too. Good man, smart, I think a collaborator, and but he just wasn't getting traction. I loved how he spoke about getting out of the race. He didn't call names. He was upbeat. He showed respect for the country and respect for the voters. He said, they're telling me, Tim, it's not my time. But I'm sure he learned a lot. And things is Tim's favorite things and yours, I could tell, because the way you are, we're people. And that's Tim, right? He enjoyed meeting people across this country and learning from them. That's what we do all the time. We ask people, how do you feel about this? What do you feel about the border? And they tell us. We gather a lot of information, and that helps us talk about different issues.
Yeah, and there's no doubt he even though he didn't make the dent that he would like to have made, he made a positive contribution to the campaign.
Absolutely.
He contributed ideas. He contributed a whole sense that you should have in the way you should deal with each other. So I think it was a successful campaign from that point of view. And I wish they were all like that. I mean, the two that are vying for number 2 are in a catfight.
Yes.
Viciously attacking each other. I mean, according to DeSantis, she's basically a communist collaborator. And I don't know, what does she accuse DeSantis of? I mean, being a bad governor of doing the same thing, of giving businesses to China, which DeSantis says she's lying about. So I haven't gotten to the. But
I don't think Chris Christie will pull out until after New Hampshire. And, but anybody here can tell me if I'm wrong about this. Is Asa Hutchinson still in? I'm told he's still in, and so isn't Doug Burgum.
But they don't have anybody voting for him, so they can't get on the ballot.
As the president saw him as Ada Hutchinson, and I think he's still in the race. I haven't heard that he's dropped out. I think the next time we'll hear from him is the day that he drops out.
Yeah,
Does it effectively matter whether he is?
No, it doesn't.
Actually, does it matter that any of them are? Tell the truth.
So, I mean, look.
It does in this respect, and God forbid that
something
ever catastrophically happens to President Trump, who's the front runner. He obviously seems like the person the American public wants to be president again. God forbid if something ever happened to him. We need to know free spot.
I hope not.
No, I know.
Oh.
But I talk about my death all the time. You never know what's going to happen, and I want to prepare my family.
Well, let's be optimistic about this. All right. So we will now take a short break, and we'll be right back with the incomparable Dr. Maria.
Our device is something that you can plug into your television. And now you can use your television as a social television type experience. So in the Portal universe, you can watch your favorite content creators' videos, live streams, music. We also have TV subscriptions as well.
Subscriptions.
You can also
regular channels, all the sports.
Right. You can actually cut your cable from your cable subscription and get QUX TV on our QX TV boxes. And you can pay half the price that you're currently paying for your cable television subscription. And you can get all the best premium TV channels and more. I mean, it's really, there's so much on there, Rudy. I mean, you've seen it.
No, I've seen it and I use it. And it's good. I mean, it's just exactly the same except for half the price. Plus, nobody is finding out what I'm watching And that's not being reported to anybody.
Right. So you have absolute privacy using this device, which you don't have on other devices out there currently on the market.
This is absolutely great. QUX.TV is how you can find out about it. QUX.TV.
Use promo code Rudy to receive $30 off.
That was
Very
Perfect timing.
a very good suggestion, Dr. Maria, to all the people on Instagram and Getter, and to those who watch the commercial. I'll repeat it. Go to QUX.TV, code Rudy,
Yep.
and
Always code Rudy.
you will get a substantial discount. But first of all, you're going to get a discount in general from the price that you pay with the spies who want your information. And number two, you're not going to have left-wing spies trying to get information because they don't want your information and they're not looking for it. All they want to do is give you service, which is what it's supposed to be originally. But who knows who these people are who are running these places. I know that because they've done a lot of spying on me. And so you have in your home a service in which they're not spying on you. You're going to pay less for it. And one of the great things for me, I get QAN, which OAN, One American News, which in New York they cut it out because it is clearly a socialist communist dictatorship. The Democrat Party has run it for so long that it is it's as if the Democrat Party is the Communist Party in New York.
Rudolph, may I?
And that's why we get judges like that judge on the bench appointed by a crooked, Democratic Party.
The New York Bar Association really should put under investigation that judge and Letitia James.
No, they can't. They don't have any time. They spend anything on me.
Rudolph Giuliani is a world-class lawyer, and they should not touch you.
Not according to them. I
they're
represented Donald Trump. You're not allowed to do that.
Well, everybody deserves representation.
Not Donald Trump.
Remember, John Adams
Not Donald Trump.
defended Tory soldiers.
No,
it was not a popular move.
Donald Trump is not entitled. The New York Bar has decided that, come on, it's the New York Bar after all. They are extremely important. They are extremely important. And if you don't do what they say, you can't go to their cocktail parties.
Oh, dear.
You can't go to their cocktail parties and
Well, I'm not into that.
spend all
anyway.
your night blah, blah, blah.
I'm into being around good, honest people with integrity who puts our Constitution first. But I want to talk about California.
You would not be welcome.
And I know we have a contingency of Californians out there that watch this show. You tell me that your state is in turmoil. Not only is it being overrun with illegal aliens who are dangerous to the communities, they are getting free monies, that is American taxpayer money. You tell me about the garbage.
Why are you bringing up California?
I will tell you, Rudolph.
I want to know why. I think I know why.
I'm going to that place. And you tell me about San Francisco, which, by the way, decades ago, I used to really enjoy San Francisco. It was a beautiful, under the leadership of Nancy Pelosi and people like Gavin Newsom, it's a pit. There's needles everywhere. They have to have staff to pick up human waste. We are seeing bubonic plague in San Francisco. So it's totally mismanaged. And so President Xi Jinping is meeting President Biden in San Francisco. So a reporter asked Gavin Newsom, is the only reason you're cleaning up San Francisco is because of these dignitaries coming into town? And this is the most honest he's ever seen.
Arrogant.
Says,
not
yes.
Not arrogant.
He didn't do it for you, Californians. He didn't do it for your neighborhood. He did it for a show.
He's being
for
arrogant.
Two people who could care less about the American people.
He's being arrogant.
And why would we let Chinese dictator on our land? He crazy. It came from that lab. It was either specifically developed to be a bioweapon, or they didn't follow safety protocols and they let it leak out, and then they try to cover it up from the world. They spy on us constantly. In Xi Jinping's manifesto by 2048, I'm coming for you, America. And you know what? He's got somebody helping him right now in the White House. There,
Well, I wonder if they're going to get, if he and Hunter are going to get to catch up, huh? Or James. I mean, they got a lot of money from him.
And Dr. Maria brings up a great
You
point.
think he'll ask how they're doing? How's Hunter and James doing? The guys who were in the partnership with us.
Well,
and isn't it ridiculous that he's represent that we're going to send that nitwit to represent the United States against a vicious but a quite intelligent dictator? America is virtually unrepresented. We've got a blabbering, stupid moron there who may not even remember in the middle of it who he's talking to. I'm going to tell you this. 20 years ago, he'd have been too stupid to meet with Z. The guy is the dumbest guy I've ever known. And he should not be.
Yeah, he was dumb and a liar before he became demented.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Donaldson concluded in 1988 that he was too damn dishonest to ever be president.
Yep.
Sam, you were right.
Because he lied in New Hampshire, my state.
And this guy is going to
Ted, what were you going to say? Sorry.
No, your comment about San Francisco and Mayor Dr. Maria, what does it say about some of our leaders when they're more concerned about making sure the city and that is clean and safe for outsiders instead of for the people that live there and work there each and every day?
Well, I mean, there's no doubt that Dubin,
he's got nice hair.
Newman
right? It's nice
is
slick back. He's tall.
The guy has massive dictatorial instincts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy is a typical left-wing dictator. I mean, look what he did during COVID. You can't go to a restaurant. Meanwhile, he's at a restaurant drinking $1,000 wine.
Restaurant.
I mean, and being mayor,
this is what Stalin did. This is what Hitler does. This is what all these left-wing potentates do. They live the great life.
Yeah.
And then the people, the deplorables, are the ones that have to starve on the streets, which is what he does. He's presided over ruining a great state.
Yes.
And I mean, if he runs for president,
surplus too.
If he runs for president, he's going to do for America what he did for California.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And he's running a shadow campaign. So just keep educating people what California was like before and now with Gavin Newsom.
I mean, it's a state. It's a tie between New York and California per capita who loses more people. Do you need anything else? I mean, people vote. Most important vote they make is a decision where they live. And the vote is get the hell out of this stinking state because this guy is ruining it.
Yeah. And
the same thing is true in New York. And which one is more corrupt? I mean, you go flip a coin. And which one destroyed rights of people more? New York or California? Go flip a coin. But he showed no respect at all for people's rights, for their, the basic human values that you'd expect in an American leader, he does not have. He trampled all of them.
Yeah.
And he's a hypocritical liar. And pretty boy.
2 minutes left. Dr. Maria, very busy news day. What's your closing message for folks as they prepare to wind down their Monday heading into Tuesday?
Well, this is Rudy's show, so I'm going to be very, very brief.
Well, no, we like yours. They get mine all the time.
Well, all I have to say is, I love you. I want you to have the best life ever, a safe life. I want us to go back to the values of the Constitution and not deviate from that. And it's okay that we call ourselves a sovereign nation. We should be shutting down that border, bring them on there, have it with our military until we figure out who's in our country. Because God forbid we have another 9/11. Go ahead, Ruth.
Don't, Doctor, that was beautiful. I can't do any better than that, other than to say I agree with you completely. You're the reason we do it, because we want the American people to get the information that people like Gavin Newsom and all of those dictatorial, anti-American tyrants keep from you, the way they kept from you the hard drive during the election, and you didn't know that you elected a massive lifetime criminal to being president of the United States, who has caused more Americans to die than any American president except when we're in war. Look what he's done to the world. Look what the world was like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Look what it's like now. The man has completely destroyed parts of the world. So please stay with us, because we're going to make sure that by dint of our will and the people that work with us and everyone else, you're going to get the information so you'll be able to make the right decision
God bless you.
and save this country and take it back from these tyrants.